It's a funny face. Hi everyone, I hope you're really well. It is officially Valentine's Day today. It's a miserable day outside. It's my first day off of the week. It was my short week this week. It was particularly short because I actually only did 1.5 days this week because it's also half term. So I was kind of thinking to myself, what can I film for this week? Particularly with the wee one around. And I thought, I know what I haven't done in ages. I haven't done a get ready with me. So that's what we've got today. We're going to be going out in a minute, even though it's horrible outside. We haven't been very well, as you may well know from comments of mine on social media, on videos of mine. And basically we just want to get out and get some air, even if it is very damp air. So if you are new to my Get Ready With Me's, you've not seen them before, I was going to say they're not conventional, but I don't even know if there is a conventional Get Ready With Me. They're very relaxed, very chilled out, not a huge amount of makeup talk because a lot of my other videos are talking about products and stuff. If I've got something in particular to say about a product, then of course I will. If you're curious about what I'm using, it will be listed down below in the description box. But yeah, it's just a very relaxed, chatty, getting ready session basically. So that's what you can expect from today's video. If I still sound ill, it's because I am, although I'm a lot better than what I was. Oh my goodness, I don't know what we had, but it was horrible, and he's only just starting to feel better now, and it's been like a week and a half. And yeah, we've been having to take your temperature a lot, haven't we? Because he's been having temperatures every day, just randomly, like 1 or 2 a day, which Nurofen was working with. It was bringing his temperature down. You kind of get to the point where you're feeling a bit paranoid, like, are we masking something else going on inside his little body? And your mum brain just kind of goes a bit nuts. If you're wondering what I'm doing with this beauty blender, I'm just making sure this moisturiser is completely kind of sunken in and I haven't got too much residue on. I know, you've been having a lot of medicine, haven't you?
Is it run out?
No, it's not run out, even though we did use quite a lot. I'm still using Lancome's Teint Idole. I actually have worn all 4 shades that I picked up, and this is still available, as far as I'm aware, on Feel Unique's Pick and Mix service, because I've just ordered some more shades because I do really like it. But now that I'm a bit more familiar with what shades I've got and what's working for me, I want to try something else. But what I do, I start out with the lightest shade, which is, in terms of the ones that I've got, is number 008, Beige Opale. Ah, that was nice, thank you. Because I bring foundation quite far down my neck, I kind of have a slight foundation ombre going on because I can, because I've got so many shades. So that's what I've been doing. So it's probably going to look ridiculously light for the minute, but it will all make sense, I promise. So yeah, it's been a horrible time recently with all the bugs and stuff. We've not enjoyed it at all, have we, darling? And we've just been so sleepy as well, just wanting to sleep all the time, just feeling utterly wiped out. But I suppose that's the body's way of kind of dealing with it. On the first couple of days, he was sleeping on and off most of the day. So my mum had to come up and look after him because I obviously still had to go to work, really. And my mum would just message me to say that, you know, he just slept most of the day. Yeah, I'm even using this as concealer under the eyes because it is so good under the eyes. And I need all the help I can get in terms of lightening that area right now. Oh, and he wasn't eating either. And then it got to the point where he was just like flaking out for hours at a time, like 3 hours, just flaking out on the sofa. And that's just not the kind of boy he is, you know. and you could make noise and stuff and he would still just be completely conked out. So we knew that he really wasn't well. And even on, was it Monday this week? My mum took him out for a little walk into the village. And even then that wiped him out and he was asleep for like nearly 3 hours. So it's been a really horrible bug. There are some really nasty ones going around at the moment, but it's just mainly been, you know, a nasty cough and cold really. And I can't really say that it's the flu because we've both had the flu vaccination. It's probably as close as to having flu that I possibly have had though, although I didn't really have a temperature as such. Although in work yesterday, was it yesterday? I did start to feel like really flushed. God, I'm really beginning to run out of this foundation now. Hopefully the other shades will turn up today. They are only 5ml in here and they've lasted ages. So yeah, don't know what it was, but we didn't like it. And we'd even made plans last weekend as well. We don't tend to make plans because the weekends are usually not very interesting in our household. It just involves housework, food shopping, and then kind of preparing meals for the week. So we don't really get up to much exciting stuff on the weekend. But he's not been to the cinema yet. And we thought, you know, now that he's 4, maybe it would be a good time to go see something. And he really liked the first Paddington film. So we kind of dabbled with the idea of going to the cinema, and it's a good job we didn't pre-book any tickets because he probably would have been asleep through all of it. But this is like the last week and the last weekend that they're showing Paddington. It's like a morning screening for children and it's really cheap. And this is the last sort of week and weekend that they're showing it. So I've just gone ahead and booked tickets for this Sunday. Everyone better be okay because we really could do with having a nice day out as a family. One thing that I was really chuffed about recently is my last highlights video, which wasn't really a highlights video. It felt more like a video diary when I was editing. I didn't realise I'd picked up the camera as much as I had, and when I was editing it, and in its edited form, it was like an hour, I thought, how on earth have I come to this? How have I managed it? Obviously it's been a very chatty month. So I thought, you know, all I can do is divide it in 2 and hope that it's still going to come across okay. I was quite worried about it, but reading all your comments, it just warms my heart so much, and it amazes me that you're interested in me just chatting about life stuff, because that's kind of all I was doing really. I wasn't sharing any earth-shattering information. I'm just trying to, well, I'm not trying, that's the whole point. I'm just being myself. This foundation has really come into its own recently with how bad my skin has been and the stuff that I've had to cover up because I've gone through quite a spotty time of it recently, and this foundation has just been amazing. It covers things so nicely but naturally. It's not perfect. It definitely isn't perfect, but it's probably, like I mentioned in that first impressions video, one of the best foundations, no, the best? Probably the best foundation I've put on my face ever. But like I said, it's not perfect, but it's as close as I've ever got to perfection. Ow, that hurts. Ow, ow, ow. I think that's stage 1 done, looking slightly more human. Although I look so pale on camera, but in real life, I really don't look that pale. One thing I do like to do is, after using a brush, just because it's a bit quicker, is I go over everything with a beauty blender, just to make sure it's really nicely blended. So, what else has been going on? Not a lot really, to be honest. I've just mainly been working and then coming home and seeing my husband for a little bit and then just going to bed early because, like I said, this bug just completely knocked me for six. I can't actually believe it's the middle of February. That is absolutely crazy. And we've had some really bonkers weather here. You've probably seen some of the pictures that I've posted on Instagram, and you would have seen bits in that highlights video of when it hailed that day. We've since had a fair bit of snow, actual snow, which has been really exciting. And the other morning, was it Monday? My husband said to me, "Have you looked out the window?" And I was like, "No." And he said, "Go and have a look." So I had a look and there was just white everywhere, and that is just not something that you see. Although it does seem to be each year, February does generally seem to be a very cold month. Whereas when you want weather like this, sort of November, December time, it's just really mild. So yeah, February is definitely the month of cold. It was -4 the other day, which isn't massively cold. We've definitely had it colder than that. I remember a few years ago, -8, and I'd never seen temperatures like that before. But yeah, I was sat in work the other day, and I've got a big window next to my desk, which it only has a view of another building. It's, you know, not like an exciting view or anything. And for pretty much the whole day, it was just snowing. And it just felt so magical. And it was the kind of snow that is beautiful to look at, but it wasn't too destructive because it wasn't actually settling. It was just falling really pretty. I've got my weigh-in tomorrow, and I have no idea what to expect because basically I have had no sense of taste and smell since last Thursday. Was the first time I actually smelt and tasted something, and I don't think I've ever had those senses disappear for so long, and it was really scary. And you kind of think, oh, is this going to be it now? Am I just never going to get these senses back? Because it does happen, you know, people have these random illnesses or whatever and they just lose their senses. And it was quite scary. And yeah, it just got to the point where I thought it's never going to come back because the cold was all up in my sinuses. So although I was able to breathe in and out of my nose okay, I still couldn't smell anything and I couldn't taste anything, and it was just so surreal. But when I was going into work yesterday, so I had my breakfast as usual in the morning, couldn't taste anything, couldn't smell anything. And then by the time I got into work, I was walking past this place where they're doing like some construction work or something. And I actually smelt like some kind of smoke. Not cigarette smoke, it was, yeah, some kind of construction related smoky smell, like they were literally burning something. And I was so excited. I was so happy, even though it wasn't like the most pleasant smell in the world. I was so happy. And then I got into work and a colleague made me a coffee, like she does most mornings because she's lovely. And I thought, oh, I may as well just have sort of a cup of warm water really, because I can't taste anything. And I could actually taste it and I was so excited. And then I could smell it as well. And it was like the best feeling ever. And then I took some fruit to work with me and I could taste the fruit. And oh, I was just in such a happy place. It was so nice. But then that feeling was quite short-lived because for dinner last night, when I sat down to have it, I couldn't taste it. So I was kind of back to square one. And this morning, I've had some toast and a coffee, and I couldn't really taste that either. So It gave me a little hint of something yesterday, but it was quite short-lived. I've gone back to my old faithful palette for the moment. This is the Tarte Energy Noir palette, I think it's called, which it is. And it's kind of like purple and grey tones. Just mainly because I want a really pink blush, because it just makes me feel less sickly somehow. And I think pink and grey just goes together really nicely. So yeah, in terms of weighing, I haven't really been eating anything all that naughty because there's been no point, because I've not been able to taste it. I know you still get like the texture of chocolate or whatever, but it's quite depressing when you're eating something lovely and you can't taste it. So we shall see. Although that being said, I feel like I've been really hungry, so I have eaten quite a lot, so that might have counteracted it a little bit. But it would be really nice to get into the next stone bracket, because I have been hovering. When I first started Slimming World, I was something stone 2 pounds, so I was really close to getting into that next stone bracket anyway. But since entering that lower stone bracket, I feel like I've just been hovering in there forever. And I remember when I was on Diet Chef and I lost all the weight that I did, weirdly, the stone bracket that I'm in right now also caused me trouble way back then. But by then I'd already lost like 3 stone, I think. It's just something about the weight that I am right now that my body just wants to hang on to. I think once I'm under this next stone bracket, I'm going to be so happy. And apologies if what I'm saying right now makes no sense to anyone. It makes sense to me. As in, you could be 11 stone, 11 stone 1, 11 stone 2, and you just want to get down to like 10 stone something, so like 10, 13, 10, 12. That's what I'm talking about. Obviously, I am not that weight. I'm much heavier than that. I think that will do for eyes. But I've just paid for another 12-week countdown with Slimming World, so I think that takes me up to April sometime. And I'd like to think I will have lost a fairly decent amount of weight, because Christmas got in the way of that first stone going, and there's not really anything in the way of losing more weight other than Easter, because although people know you're on a diet, I bet we'll still be given chocolate, which is fine. It's not like I'm completely adverse to chocolate, but if they could give it to us already portioned, for example, the little Lindor chocolate balls that you get, oh my god, they are so nice. At least you can ration those, and I know that most Lindor balls I think are 4 cents each. Speaking of Slimming World, something I am going to do at some point, because I know there was a little bit of interest for it, is to do like a what I eat in a day on Slimming World. So I will do one of those, I think, when I'm feeling a little bit better, because unless it's just the way that I do it, what I eat in a day videos can actually be quite time consuming. Although sometimes I think what I've already done one in the past? Yeah. The one I did for Diet Chef, I did show quite a lot of cutaways and preparation and stuff, whereas I've watched a lot of Slimming World, what I eat in a day, and there isn't a huge amount of preparation shots generally. It's usually just showing the food itself, so it's probably as hard or as easy as I want to make it, really. So I might just literally do a, it's breakfast, this is what I'm eating. It's lunch, this is what I'm eating, that kind of thing. Because I do actually really like Slimming World. It gives you the freedom that you need, I think, to actually make a lifestyle change. But for some reason, I still think it has a bit of a funny reputation. and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the name Slimming World. I don't know if you've noticed, by the way, but I am using IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara because I'm going to give that other one that I loved, the Diego de la Palma one, I'm going to give that a rest for a minute and I'm going to pick it back up again, and if it's still too tricky to work with, it's going to be going into my empties. But I quite like this one. It is a little bit clumpy, but you can just about get there. But I do find the wand quite long. It can be quite tricky to work. I'm nearly finished. And I don't think it really smudges either. I've been wearing it to work the last couple of days. What is it about this eye just going so lovely, and then the other eye is just like, nah, I'm not playing ball. And then you've got to be careful because you can end up going to Clumpyville very quickly, which I'm right on the edge of, so I'm going to stop right there. I'm just going to put another coat of this on. I could do with colouring my brows again. It's usually sort of every couple of weeks, I think, is what works. Got my Zoeva Pink Spectrum Blush palette, which hasn't had a lot of love since I picked up that Tarte one that I got recently. I've been feeling a real cool toned pink the last couple of days, so I've picked it back up again. Just think there's something on my skin tone and with my hair colour, there's something about a pink blush that I just love. I'm addicted. I'm officially addicted to pink blush. And just for a bit more pop, I'm going to go right for that super, super pink colour. Because it is Valentine's Day after all. And on camera that does look very obvious. For some reason on camera it's really showing up, but in real life it's much more toned down than that. Right, and to finish everything off, I'm going to use this lip gloss that I picked up from Foo Unique's Pick and Mix service. This was a really generous size. It's 3.5 ml. It's black and it's sparkly. You would have seen a post on Instagram of me wearing this, and it kind of goes purpley. So that's what it looks like. Yeah, it does look a bit funny, doesn't it? But I think that's what I'm going to go for. Oh, and it's by Givenchy. And it's just a really nice gloss. It's a lovely colour, it's comfortable, it's not like anything else I've got. The swatch on my hand, you can see that it's kind of changed colour. I don't know whether it changes to like your body temperature or pH or something like that. But it's just nice to have something a bit different for a change. And I think that is me now done. So that is it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you want to know what products I use, I will list them all down below in the description box if you are curious. And we're going to go out now, aren't we? Into the rain, which makes me all the better for drying my hair. But like I said, that is it for today, so I hope you are all really well, and I will see you again soon. Bye!